Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Lexi, and today we're doing quite a different video. I typically do diamond painting and crafting videos on my channel, but in the year 2023, I want to try something new. And one of my other passions in life is true crime. I love to read about true crime, watch TV shows and videos on YouTube about true crime, and I also love the law tube, watching the lawyers talk about cases, and it's just something that I'm passionate about, and so I wanted to bring it to my channel and really focus on missing women and children, because those are the cases that really kind of speak to me, and there's a sense of urgency there, and there needs to be spotlight put on those cases. So I am not going to get into detail about the diamond painting that I'm working on or the supplies that I'm using. I will link all of that stuff down below. For these true crime talk videos, I want the case that we're discussing to be the focal point, so I'm not going to go into detail about what it is that I'm working on. So we will see if everybody likes this type of video. Let me know down in the comments what you think about this type of video format. Are you interested in true crime? Not interested in true crime? You're just here for diamond painting? Let me know. So today we are going to be discussing a case that is active and ongoing, and it has been making national headlines. So the case is a case of a missing woman, Ana Walshe. And she is 39 years old. Now she lives in Cohasset, Massachusetts, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I believe it's Cohasset. And so she is 39 years old. She has 3 children, 3 boys ages 2 through 6, so very young kids. She is married to a man named Brian, and he is 47 years old. She reportedly went missing on New Year's Day, so January 1. She went missing. There are reports of people that saw her the night before who celebrated New Year's Eve with her and her family, and they actually said that everything was fine. They said that they were celebrating. There didn't seem to be any turmoil on that night. Everything was moving forward, as expected. And in fact, it sounds like both Ana and Brian had said that 2023 was going to be their year, which that is something that my husband and I have said to each other, like, this is our year. And so that kind of hit me a little close to home. It's like, as an outsider looking in, it seemed like everything was normal. Now, she lives in Cohasset, Massachusetts, but she also worked in Washington, D.C., and it sounds like she had an apartment out there. And she would fly back and forth between Massachusetts and Washington, D.C. And so it was not uncommon for her to travel. Like every week she would fly out, and she would often take ride shares to the airport and things like that. Now, what's really weird, though, is she supposedly was last seen on January 1st around 6 a.m., very early in the morning. Her husband reports that she was going to travel back to Washington, D.C. for work. Now, what's weird about that is she had a plane ticket booked for the 3rd of January, not the 1st. And according to the police, they cannot find any evidence that she got on a flight or that she had a ticket booked for January 1st. They also cannot find any evidence of her using a rideshare on that day. They have checked, all the different rideshare services as well, like Uber and Lyft, and they can't find any record of her being driven to the airport on that day. What is also weird is there's a lot of weird things in this case. So she supposedly left on the 1st. Now, her husband said that she left early on 1/1 so that she could attend to an emergency at work. So she had planned to leave on the 3rd after the holidays, but then there was an emergency, and so she allegedly left on 1/1. But according to the investigators, her cell phone pinged at or near her home in Massachusetts on January 1st and January 2nd, which would have been after she supposedly left to go to Washington, D.C. So that's weird. That's very weird. The other weird thing is that she was not reported missing until January 4th. So lots of time in between when she was last seen and when she was actually reported to be missing. The other weird thing, and maybe this is not as weird as I think it is, but the husband did not call police. Her employer called the police. Now, his attorney has said that the reason the employer called police to report her missing was because Brian, her husband, called them looking for her on the 4th. He said he hadn't heard from her in a while, wanted to know if she turned up to work. So then that prompted them to call the police. So while the husband didn't call the police, he did alert somebody, the employer, who then called the police. Very strange to me. So she went missing on the 1st. Her phone pings at her home in Massachusetts on the 2nd, even though she wasn't supposed to be there. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't leave my cell phone anywhere. I always have my cell phone with me, and I especially would not be traveling out of state without my cell phone. So I guess you could argue that maybe she forgot her cell phone, but I doubt it. I don't leave home without it. And if I get outside the house and realize I don't have my cell phone, I turn right around and I go back in and get it. So I do think that's strange. I should mention, that I'm obviously not law enforcement. I'm not an investigator. I am not any kind of web sleuth or anything like that. I'm just talking about the case and the facts that were put out by the police. And so I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything, and it's always innocent until proven guilty. But there's a lot to talk about in this case, a lot of suspicious things. So the other sort of interesting facts in this case, the husband was actually on house arrest. And so he was wearing one of those anklet or bracelet monitors for house arrest that tracks his movement, and he had to get permission to be able to leave the home if he wanted to. The reason he's on house arrest is nothing related to this case, but apparently he had been charged with fraud because he sold fake Andy Warhol paintings on, it sounds like on eBay maybe. He pled guilty to that. So he was guilty of that. He pled guilty. He's on house arrest. So he's monitored. They found out that he said that he went to his mother's house on January 1st, and then he also went to CVS and Whole Foods. They were able to determine that it was a lie. He did not go to Whole Foods and CVS, and they actually have him on camera at a Home Depot buying, get this, $450 worth of cleaning supplies, mops, tarps, drop cloths. That sounds suspicious. The other kind of weird thing was, so they have him on surveillance buying all of this stuff. That's a lot of money to spend on cleaning supplies. He paid $400, well, I guess with inflation, maybe, I don't know, but he paid $450 in cash. They have him on surveillance, though, and he was wearing, like, surgical gloves and a mask. Now, given the events of the last 2 years or so, it is not uncommon to see people still today in the store with gloves and masks on, right? Because everybody's trying to protect themselves from germs. However, it does seem suspicious to be wearing gloves, mask, and then buying all that cleaning supplies on the same day that your wife has gone missing. I think, that's a little weird. So, the police are investigating this, and they determined that he has lied. Now, they previously said that he was fully cooperative, and it does sound like he was cooperating with searches. He consented to searches on his property and in his home. However, they have found out that he lied to them about his whereabouts, and it also seems like he delayed reporting her missing. That's the appearance of it anyway. So they execute a search warrant in the home in Cohasset. And now these homes that in the neighborhood that the Walshes lived in, beautiful giant homes, look to be a very wealthy neighborhood. So they go in and they execute the search warrant, and they find in the basement blood and a bloody knife. And when I was listening to the attorney speaking in court, the district attorney, she said that the knife was also damaged. So that's weird. Now, they have not found Ana Walshe, and they also have not charged anybody yet with anything, but it does sound like foul play is afoot. And they did arrest her husband, Brian Walshe, and charged him with misleading police in an investigation. And the reason they did that was because of the lies that he told about going to, he said he went to CVS and Whole Foods. That could not be substantiated. And he also, I guess, neglected to tell them that he went to Home Depot and bought $450 worth of cleaning supplies. So they arrested him. And you can see the court hearing online. It is published on YouTube and on the news. You can see him appear in court. The judge set his bail at $500,000. Now, it's not clear to me if he needs to pay that whole amount or if it's a situation where it's like a cash surety bond where you only have to pay 10%. I'm not too sure about that. So I guess we'll see. When I'm filming this video, it is January 10th. All of this happened yesterday with him being arrested, and the search warrant happened yesterday on the 9th. So she has been missing for over a week, and now they find, unfortunately, blood and a bloody knife on the property of the home. What's weird to me, though, is why wouldn't, maybe it's a red herring, because why would you keep that knife? Why would you have blood in the basement? Is that really related to her disappearance? It's very strange. And especially since he had, if he did something to her, I mean, he would have had all that time to clean up, and he went and bought all these cleaning supplies. It's very strange to me that now there is this knife just hanging out in the basement. I mean, I guess we don't know the full details of that, but it's very strange. It is very strange. And so they are still looking for Ana Walshe, and I will make sure to put in pictures of her so you can see what she looks like. She's still a missing person. And, things could change. I'm filming this on the morning of January 10th. There still could be a lot of information, to come out today. Things might change. But as of right now, they haven't found her. And, it's just devastating. They have 3 small children. I cannot imagine, how terrifying it must be for her children right now. Now, I did hear that her children were in the custody of the state now because her husband is in jail on the charges of lying, or not lying to the police, but the charge is misleading police in an investigation. So I'm not sure what happens next. Now, on the news, they did say that when the police went into the house, they did take shovels and they pulled out multiple boxes of evidence. And so, what will come from that, I'm not sure what that could be. They have interviewed friends of the family, and there seems to be like one friend who's very supportive of Brian, saying that, he's not a bad guy. This is not on him. And now another friend that they interviewed who had spent New Year's Eve with them said that, the timeline didn't really add up, and so he felt like maybe there was foul play. But he didn't outright say that it was the husband that did it or anything like that. But he said he suspected that there was foul play. So it's not sounding hopeful that they will find her alive, but who knows? I pray that they do find her alive. It's just really not sounding that great. And there's just a lot of really weird things going on. Now, they did say, they took all this evidence from the house. They found the bloody knife and the blood in the basement. Now, they haven't said whose blood that is or anything. They also apparently drained the pool at the home. But the police announced that they did not find anything that helped to determine her current location. So she is still missing. So it's a very strange case. And there's just a lot of strange facts, a lot of suspicious facts in this case. And so when they arrested the husband, this is the other thing that I found odd. They arrested the husband yesterday, and they have footage of him being led, I believe, out of the courthouse in handcuffs in the custody of police. Now, something that I found to be quite unsettling was the expression on his face as he was leaving. I'm not a body language expert, of course. And in his defense, I'll try to put a clip in. He's leaving the courthouse and he's smiling and he looks almost kind of smug about it. But in his defense, I am like a nervous laugher and nervous smiler. And so I will smile and laugh when I'm nervous. So maybe it was that. It could be that he walks outside, he sees all these camera crews, and he starts smiling because he's nervous. Or maybe he was just smiling because he felt like, oh, great, now it's a spectacle type of thing. Maybe he was trying not to show distress on his face. Who knows? But I felt like it was unsettling, the way that his facial expression was. I just noticed it right away. It was just very strange. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below about that, because it just seems very strange to me. So it will be interesting to see what happens today and the rest of the week as far as their efforts to find her. And now in one of the police press conferences, this was before the husband was arrested, you know, they had made statements that they were just considering her a missing person, and it wasn't clear if maybe she just ran off. Maybe she needed a break. She has 3 very small children. Maybe she was overwhelmed and she just kind of ran off to get a break from her life. I don't know about that theory. And now with the new information about finding blood in the basement, it's not really sounding that great. But, you know, let's keep hope alive. Let's hope that she's okay. And we will keep our eyes and our ears open. And oh, the other thing I wanted to mention was the police have stated in Massachusetts that they have been inundated with people calling in ridiculous tips and like their opinions on how the investigation should be ran. That's ridiculous. So, you know, the true crime community is pretty large on YouTube and social media. A lot of people get invested in these cases. But, you know, leave the investigation to the professionals. Don't call in, like, your theories as a tip. Only call if you know something concrete about her whereabouts. I just find that to be so crazy that people call in and try to tell the police how to do their job and try to interfere with the investigation. That's not helping anybody. It's not helping Ana or her family. So, yeah, don't do that. It just needs to be an investigation ran by the professionals. I'm not a professional. I'm just here to talk about the case, and I just found this one so interesting, and it's just so many crazy details. So, well, let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you think that Ana is still alive, or was there foul play? You know, what do you think about this case? Also, let me know what you think about these types of videos. Is it something that you're interested in? Or, nah, not really. You know, true crime is one of my interests, but that doesn't mean I have to share it on YouTube. So, anyway, let me know. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you being here. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I appreciate you. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.